Uh, 1 second, my entire screen is in disable mode. Is my voice audible?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, but reload my share my screen.
Screen it not visible, sir.
Yeah, I'm sharing now.
Okay, sir.
Is my screen visible now?
Yeah, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay. Hi everybody. Good morning. So we are what we are today. We are starting with routing. So what I do is I'll start a separate project because this is going to act as a multiple pages. We are going to travel or move from one page to another page. To start with, we start with a login page, then we are moving into a register page. Once we go into login page, then how do we validate the data in the backend? That portion also we will see. And how do we then do a sign up button? So to just start with, we are since we are taking this flow, the I'm just creating one more project. I'm just gone to my command prompt. I'm creating a new project, ng new project name. Say for example, FS project one. I'll just use the word FS project one. It is for creating the project, Angular project, not at material. So Angular routing, yes, I want to have an Angular routing. CSS, yes. Creating a new project so that we'll not confuse with our existing project. So here our intention is we'll do one simple add, edit, delete kind of an operation inside an app. For that, first user can do a login. User, in case login doesn't exist, user can register for that and create forgot password and all. I leave it to you for an exercise. So go to the project one, FS project one. So go inside, then add Angular material. I'm not sure about my URL. I'm just going back. Angular material start. Angular material getting started. I just want to know the this one command ng add Angular material. I want to add it here inside my project. So would you like to proceed? Yes. Installing package indigo pink. I'll use indigo deep purple amber. Purple amber type strip. Yes. Browser animations. Yes. So I have installed now. Angular material also done. So now if I open the project, now, open folder. For me, I kept it in D drive, upskill, project one. So this is where my project is. You will see the simple basic structure is ready for you to use. Right? App is ready. Inside app module is ready. Now, I don't want this HTML and all. I don't want it. So I'll remove all this content little later. First, I want to create one login functionality, that is login module. After that, I want to create one more module called register module. So because I want to go and land up in the login module. By default, I want user to get landed up into the login module. To create a module and a component, it is ng uh, generate module mdule with the routing. I want module to be created with routing. So what is the name of the module? Login module. That is my first starting of the module. After I created a project with all Angular material, basic setup is ready. NG is for nomenclature of the creation of a generate module or whatever. I can do ng serve. Angular uses ng. I can either use Angular ng serve, ng add, top ng add, Angular material that to add a project into the existing one. Now I want to create a module with the routing. I want to create a module, generate G for generate, module with routing. Name of the module is login. So once I do this, it creates two files. One is login routing module, another is login.module.ts. I want to create a component. The component is where that HTML, TS files appear. So in the same name, ng generate component. Instead of module, I'll say component login. That means in the same folder, I want to create a component. Component is the one where you have a HTML file, TS file, spec.ts is for testing purpose. And login component, if it is having any exclusive CSS, that also will get added. So it has updated the login module also. It has updated the component. It is now ready. If I go back to my project, you can see now login got created. In this login, you can see module got created. Default syntax is already available and routing module are already bound. It is bound to the routing module. Component is already pre-created. In this, if you notice, there is a constructor added. Whereas in op module, you will not have a constructor. You will not have a constructor. Your login module will have a constructor as well. Constructor is the default requirement because it implements OnInit. OnInit is nothing but initializing this component. First it will end up here. From here, I need to create a routing. That is already taken care in this. I'll remove all that existing things so that you are all clear with what we are doing. I remove all this. If you want any of this, we can go to the older project. So I remove all this component. Entire component I'll remove. Only I will have router outlet. Only this will have. This is what the routing enabled. Routing means I'm going from one page to another page. So I have a routing enabled. I created a login module. Now I want to call. If I try to execute this, I save everything. I try to execute, but I cannot go to login actually. Login HTML, it has say paragraph login works. That's a simple HTML he is having. At least we should see this if it is working. But anywhere, we never said anywhere that you need to come to login page. We just created a component. We created a component as a module based. The advantage of module, again, I will come back and tell you, right? So I redirected to, I know where I said you come to login page. I just created, let me just try to open, try to run this ng serve. I try to run this. When I try to run this, you notice that it all gets compilation, everything goes through as it is supposed to. Yeah, it has now created, compiled. After compilation, now if I try to log in now, try to come here, do login. I just say localhost. Nothing will be there, empty. Whereas if my expectation was, my expectation is I want to come to the login page, this page. I want to come to this page, but nothing is there. It has just created and it has just added this. So how to do that? That is what the routing is all about. So now when I typed here, I just typed localhost 4200. I have not added anything. I have not done like login or I have not done anything now. I just did localhost 4200. So whatever I typed here, that should be a candidate available in my code to say that what you are typing here, I should go there, right? So in that, for that, first is this is where the routing starts. I'm in app-routing.module.ts file. This is where I'm starting my routing. So the first is I need to give a path and I need to import this login. I need to redirect to login module. So I need to start app route being the first primary page. In this primary page, in HTML, I already done router outlet. That means whatever I route, it will get bound into my main HTML. That will automatically get added, automatically gets refreshed or bind. It will automatically get binding will happen automatically. For first thing that I need to do is I need to generate the router. What is routing is all about? Routing is all about creating a path. What is the path that I need to create? Path is one, if it is empty, that means empty path. That means login 4200. I'm not giving any candidate here. Where you want to go to, right? Where you want to go to. So there are two things. One is component. Component means within the same page, I have a component, I can go there. That is one possibility. Another possibility is I want to route it to another module. So I want to route it to another module. The syntax is here. I just copy pasted the syntax. So load children. I just copy pasted because we already created a module. So in case if it is empty, you please load children. That children is nothing but it's a function. That function is calling import login module. Once that module is loaded, then call go to login module. That means I'm redirecting now. Whenever it is empty now, please go here. Only for empty. Please note, I'm giving only for empty. Not even login, it will work now. So you are redirecting. Now login page has to take over that request. So now, even though you are redirecting, login routing doesn't know where it has to fall. Whether it has to go to some other child or it has to be in the same place, it doesn't know. Again, we need to create a path, colon, it is an empty. Always in the respective page, routing module will start with an empty. Here I will say component. Which component I need to load? I need to load login component. Once I do that, please note automatically this import has taken care. It was not there before. It has got added automatically because this component when I load only this HTML will get displayed. Otherwise this HTML doesn't display. It will try to route it, but it loads the module, but module doesn't know where it has to go. So if I want that to land up at the login module here, then I need a login works. That means this display, now it will display. Let us see this. I will give it another example also. So now I saved it. Make sure compilation is fine. Compilation is fine. Now login page. FS, you can see login works. It is now coming to the page, login page when I put. If I type something here, login, right? You see an empty there. It doesn't know where to go, right? If I put some other thing, register, you are typing something other than empty, it doesn't know where to go. So if I want to control that as well, if I want somebody types login also, I want that login page to come. Then come to routing, add this path again. Now this path I am adding with additional input login. If somebody types login, I want to still come to login. If somebody types something else, if somebody types something else, that means star star, wild character, wildcard character, star star. That means anything. If they type anything, again I want to come to login page. So without login page, I don't want to start my activity. That means everywhere I'm telling them, please load this children. So if you give login, please load the children login module. If you type something else other than login or empty, you go to. So if I go do that, if I saved it, compilation will happen. If I type anything here, say now I just type register, automatically it comes to login page. It doesn't now throw error. You type anything. You type anything. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, dear. You type anything, it will come to login box only because that is the starting page. So this is the first level of routing. Any route, if it is basic route, empty, you come to login module. If you type in login, you come to login module. You type login, you come to login module. There is no ambiguity. That means it's a valid candidate. If you type anything else, you come to login module. So whatever you type, it will always load the login module. This is wild character. Star star is a wild character. So it's a big subject. Routing is a big subject. I'm taking the basic concepts in routing. So it can be, you can pass the parameter, you can do the post method. There are a lot of things possible with routing. Advantage of routing is, one is you can simplify your entire component. You don't have to worry about, you can simplify your entire component. That means you can have a small component, you can keep adding any number of component. Another important factor of this routing is it loads this module, whatever the content that you see underneath this, it loads this module only when that router is called, when that particular login is called. Otherwise, it will not load all the component. So whatever is needed for login, you can only retain that. Because login page is generally a simple page. One button we need, two text box we need. That's all. We don't need anything else. Whereas I don't have to load everything in the app component. I don't have to load anything in the app component. I need to load whatever I want to load. It is called lazy loading. Right? The module concept allows you to load whatever the content you want to load. Only if that module is called, it will load. Otherwise, it will not load. So login module always can be a very simple candidate because it doesn't have major job to do. Its job is only to call the login data, pass it on. If it is validated, you redirect him. If it is not getting validated, you show back the login page. Allow him to register, allow him to forget password page. All that is all generally possibilities of a login page. Is this clear up to this? This is what the first level of routing is. I'll again repeat before I take your questions. I first come to initially I created a component without a login. I just added a project. That means I got this components already available. Since I created as a routing module, the routing got created. Inside the routing, nothing was there. It was like this. I just cut and paste here. It was like this. So it was nothing. It was not having anything. That means by default, he doesn't know where to go. But basic syntax, everything is defined. Like imports module, these are all you should not supposed to change. Routes is the variable that is created from the router module routes that is coming from the Angular router. These are all we cannot change. So from routes, it is starting from the routes syntax. So this syntax you don't change. Once we did that, we created our aim was to come to the login page. Login page, I want to keep it as an independent page. Since login page is an independent page, I created a ng module component. I use this first is after adding the Angular material, etc. I created a ngg module routing login. This I comment it onto the our questionnaire. I'll paste it in our questionnaire. I'll put it inside the questionnaire. No questions. So I put it under. This is what we did. So this is for create module with routing. So that is the command. The next thing that I did is create a component. Create component. For that, I use this word. Same folder name. I just created a component using this command. Right? Ng, G for generate, component, that is the syntax, login. I created a component now. So I have a routing login. I have created a component. I created a module with routing and I created a component. Once I do that, in my file, login HTML, spec.ts is for testing, component.ts, component.css, login module.css, these are all got created. Same way, once I do a module creation, I got my login routing created, login module.ts created. I created both. You can do vice versa. First you create a component, then you create a module. That is also allowed. It doesn't matter. But what is the advantage of going with this syntaxes? It creates a predefined structure for you, which will generally will not fail. Is this clear? Raise your hand. Is this clear? Please raise your hand. Okay. Any questions? Let me know. Now, after this, what we have done, we created those, but we have not done the routing, actual routing. For doing the actual routing, what we did was, we went into the first app routing. That is the first place where the landing will happen for Angular as soon as the Angular is started. In routing page, we created three important factors. One, path. That means people doesn't give anything, just they type the URL. So where you want to go? I want him to take to the login module. If somebody types with the path, domain name and login, I want to take you to the login module again. If somebody types something else, I want them to get redirected to login module. That means the routes that are not registered with us. If routes that are not registered, then you please ensure that it is going to the path module. So we have done that. Next is, I want to have one more module. I want to create one more module. That module, I want to get redirected from login module. I want to get that redirected from login module. That means click on a button, register button. Assume that you have a register button. You click on the register button. I want you to, now I have not clicked anything. It has automatically landed up onto my login page. That is perfect. But I want, when you click on register button, I want you to take it to another page, another module, by altogether another module. Another module based. It's on basically it is all like split MVC concept, right? Everywhere you have a controller. This is acting as a controller. This is your viewer. The model is nothing but, right now in here there is no model because model is nothing but the endpoint, right? In our case we are using module. So I am now creating one more ng generate. I call it as module with routing register. Register is my module I want to create. Done. Once module is created, I want now ng generate component NENT component register. C also you can use ngc, nggc register. So I created another module. For this module, what I want to move from login. You can see now register module got created. You can see modules, basic syntax is ready. Uh, Component basic syntax is ready. Spec, that is for testing, basic syntax is ready. Register page works, that is the basic paragraph is ready. CSS, nothing is there. Routing, as I said earlier, for anything to get routed, I want now to, it is in curly braces, path is, I call it as empty. Here it is only empty. Then register component. Register component, automatically the component got added. These are all the features of Visual Studio Code. So automatically it gets added. If it is not added, it will be a red color mark. Here you need to make sure that that component gets added. So now I added the component, but I need to redirect. Route is added, but I need to redirect to this route. How do I do? I want to do it from the login. I want to do it from the login. So in login routing, I add now routing actually can be anywhere. Register, then load children, import module, import. It is not there. Double slash. Then I see a register here. Register. Then register module. I'm loading a module. So if promise, it is a promise, then I want to do what do you want me? I want to load the component, a module. So register module. I want to load the component. Sorry. So router module. It is register module. Register module I have added. Some mistake. Register module is here. Register module is there. Register, load children. I'll just see here. Login routing, app routing. We have a sample. Sorry. Promise, right? It is a promise. So register, it's a promise. Then it is like yum dot route register module. Because it's a promise, so I need to pass the candidate. This import candidate, I'm passing it here. Yum is the candidate is register module. That candidate, I'm passing it here. That candidate, if it exists, once it is loaded, you call the register module. Once the register module gets called, the register module is called, then what happens? It calls the register module. In register routing module, it comes here and he sees that register component. So then he loads the register component. That register component says you load this HTML. So he loads this HTML and this HTML is shown. But you have done the path. How are you going to call this routing? So assume that in login component, assume that I have a button. I have a button. Simple button. I have not done any Angular material component. Just a button. My button. Sign up or register. Register. I just created a button. If register is done, I want to use a click event. There are multiple ways we can do, but for time being, I want to just create a register. So this register is going to get called from Angular component. So in component, I make it as register. These are all what we did last class. Register. In this register, I want to use routing. I want to do routing. So the router module is not available. First is I need to load that router module inside the login. So it is private to this private router colon what I want router. This router doesn't exist. Right click, quick fix. It will automatically say import from router. So you are loaded. So constructor, I'm loading this router as a router variable. Using this router variable now, I can now navigate. This is where the actual redirection happens. Navigate within quotes, you just say register. The register is the name that you need to use, that you have used it under component routing module. Routing module, you use register here. Whatever the name you give it here, that name is what you will call it here. So now this router dot navigate, it will take you now, it will take out of from this page, it will come to the register page now. So whatever register, once you call the register page, based on that, it will load this register module. Whatever the component you have loaded here, it will load that component. From that component, it will call this TS file because the component is register component. In this TS file, you are telling them to load this HTML. So he loads this HTML. That HTML is nothing but register. I did a simple button. I have not done anything else. I have done a simple button. That's all. Right? I have not used mat raise button or anything. If I want to use it, I need to load those two modules as well. So if I put ng serve now, it is loading, compiling actually. It has compiled, success. You can see login module is loaded, register module is loaded, lazy chunk files. Okay, it is basically compiled and kept it ready. It is all compiled and kept it ready. This is of size this much, this is of size this much. Okay, these two will get loaded only if you get called. For example, when I try to log in now, login works, it has come. Now I refresh the page. There is a register button. Refresh page, register button. So this register button will now take me to the, instead of login, it will take me to the register page. Register works will come here. Click on register. You can see now register works. This is how you ensure that you are able to move between the pages. Now I want to come back. In register page, I want to come back. I just say button. So login. Right? Click. Simple click. Login. Method. So under register page now, I use this method. Under register page, I use this method. Right? Again, it is a router. Router has to be part of the constructor. Private. Private means it is available only for the that page. Router. So if I put that, automatically it gets added to the routing is got added to the top. So it is done. Now in loud this dot router within bracket dot navigate within bracket or curly braces login. I don't have to create a login inside this register and all. I don't, because it's all already registered routers. I can keep anywhere the routing, it doesn't matter. right? So I saved it now. Once I save it, I come back. Oh, button. I need to create a button also. I created register component. Button is created. Now I save it. I already done the saving. Make sure compilation is done. Now come back, register. So you can see a register page. There is a login. Click on login. It will go to the login page. Click on register. Come to the register page. So you are able to toggle between login page and without any much of the loading or unloading. It just transfers the data from this page to that page. It is able to do that in without seamless operation. So now we have done register page and things. So first in register page, we want to give this sign up. Without sign up, we cannot get into login page, right? So I want to create a sign up now. How do I do? So this is what we have seen yesterday, but will redo it. I'll just do on whatever. Anyway, this is fine. So login. I come to this register component. This is where I want to now. Yesterday we used the form using group material. So group material that is called. We had a problem with that, like abstract control and all, because that is not good for the reactive form. So what is there is called, there is called form builder. There is called form builder private form builder FB. So if I use form builder, you can see it has got added on the top. Form builder and form group. This combination will have a lot of benefits from the reactive form. Controls are automatically available. Those facilities are there. So what I'm going to do is in register page, we are going to see whatever we have done earlier. We'll do the same thing here. I just say form equals this dot fb dot group. All other syntax remains the same. Email, new form control, form control. It is not added. Let me just add that. Quick fix, update forms with form control. So first is initial value. It is null means null, undefined. Followed by validators. Multiple validators we want to do. So validators dot compose within bracket array. It is an array of even. Validators is also not there as part of the syntax. So I just quick fix, add update forms with validators, compose. So compose this. So what I want, validators. So validator dot required. It is actually required field. Then validators dot email. That is the email validation I want them to carry forward. Followed by next component, password. So new form control, all remain same. No change. Only thing is it is now, it will have more binding. That means when we are moving from HTML to this, that binding will be very good. The validators dot compose within brackets, square braces, because multiple compose we want to add. Validators dot required. Here we get min length. Validators dot min length bracket 5 number I have to give. Validators dot max length, even though I'm giving here as capital letter, but when it comes to the error message, it was only giving the small letter. So this also we noticed yesterday. So then another component is confirm password, confirm, again new form control, new form control, null default value, validators. I want only require, I'll just put required here. So I don't need, it's not an array of element, I just say it is a required element, that's all. So I just did this, and then there was a checkbox and all, we'll add it later. So that's it. Another thing I want to do it is, I want to validate this with the component, the password and confirm password, we want to validate it. That will validate as we finish this. So it is, I have put it as a register initial form variable, because constructor gets loaded. Constructor form builder is already loaded. Using this form builder, I'm creating a group. Instead of this dot form group, I'm using a form builder dot group, because this is having a better interaction with the HTML. That yesterday's kind of error will not come. Form builder, this is basically used for dynamic form as well. Dynamic form is nothing but I create a form content. Dynamically I create a form elements. So this is the best way to do. You cannot do it with the form group, direct form group. So in this, if you learn this, that will be much better. So only thing is, I've added a private form builder, and that form builder is mapped to this the creation of the variable. So variable is created with that form group. So it is a register component. It's a form group element. It is having a 3 columns: email, password, and confirm password. So this form, I want to use it in my HTML. So as usual, you can do that. How you want to do that, you can decide. For timing, I just commenting these existing lines. First is I want to make a div, and I want to tell this div use this height 100%. Right? Style height 100%. What is the advantage of that? When I use height 100%, that means if I want to align the center, the alignment of the center can be vertical align is there. You can align that in middle of the middle portion, you can align it. So as I know, div, we all know that div is nothing but you call it as entire block element. It is a block element. That means another div will always fall into the next line. That is the purpose of going with the div. Div is always a block element. So it will always takes the next line. If you are putting anything below, one more candidate here like div, it will always be a next line. Inside this div, I want to create a form element. Form element is basically the form. In that, I want to bind the form. For binding the form, it is form group equals, right, that form, whatever the name that I have given here. The name that I have given here, this form, I am giving it over here, form group. So now I bound this form, binding this form to my HTML. Inside that, as we have done yesterday, mat form field, mat label. Inside mat form field, you can have a mat hint. You can have mat hint or mat error. That mat error is what yesterday we had some trouble. That also we will see it in the subsequent class. I want you to make sure you are able to do this based on whatever we have learned yesterday. I want you to complete this portion. Right? So today what I want you to practice is I want you to create multiple that routing, right? And create routing under app routing. You create a register routing here itself and see whether without having a routing here, you create it at this point itself, whether it works or not works. All that combination you test. Keep that routing in the main place. See whether that is working or not working. It need not be part of the routing dot module, that is individual routing table. So you can load it anywhere. I want you to test, and I want to add mat button element. In this HTML, we have used only simple button. I want you to use raised button or a flat button, that is material component, and that material component should be effectively working. So make that happen. So all this you do it as part of the practice, and also align it, align the wordings, that components properly, right? Tomorrow we'll continue on register page, completing the register page, and also we'll complete the login page. If possible, we'll learn about services tomorrow. Service is nothing but integrating this backend portion, that is front end portion, with backend portion. That is the backend is nothing but database connectivity, etc. All those things. So connecting this layer to that layer. How do we do? That is called injectable service is there. That also I'll take, so that one front to back will complete it. Once that is completed, purely after that, it is all your own imagination in the way we create, learn more and more components, etc. Okay, I leave it at that. You can switch off the recording. Any questions you can ask now.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any questions, please